Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tera Vanachati Yamuna Tera Vanachati Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Sri Radhe Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Sri Radhe Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Sri Radhe lalita visaka, lalita visaka, lalita visaka jaya, lalita visaka. Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram, Kṛṣṇa Balaram, Kṛṣṇa Balaram, Jaya Kṛṣṇa Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai go Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, go Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Tinani Prabhupadasya Sahityam Yapakasha Vitiryacha Pracharangirvan Sadhu Bhagavad-Pate Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun lalitam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri-Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaisnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sadevam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakam Vitamscha. He Kṛṣṇa Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanispari Visabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. A special treat for all of us. First, we're going to read from the 34th chapter of the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Nanda Maharaj saved and Sankachuda slain. So in this chapter, there are two Leelas. First one, when Lord Krishna saved or rescued Nanda Maharaj from this, actually a demigod that was cursed. The demigod was cursed because he was criticizing the associates of Angira Muni in his ashram. Those sadhus, because they were frail due to their tapasya, so they look like they are deformed. And this demigod, Vidyahara, he is very proud of himself to be very, very handsome. So when he passed by Angira Muni's ashram, he was telling how, they look very ugly. So Angira Muni became upset, and therefore he cursed him to be a snake. But very, very fortunate snake, because he was touched by the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. In Krishna Lila, the curse is also a benediction in disguise. We've heard many Leelas or pastimes of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan, whereby they have been cursed, and then at the same time they get so much blessings that they get a benediction to have darshan of Lord Krishna and also attain liberation. But we should not follow that. We cannot criticize and, okay, let me just get criticizing, and then hopefully Lord Krishna will also bless me at the same time. This is not the case in our situation. Which text do we start? Huh? Yeah, text 21. Sukadev Maharaj, our Sukadev Swami from South India. Huh? Translation, yes. Yes. So we're going to read, because the whole chapter, the rest of the chapter is more of an information. Information which purifies our heart. So from text 21 till text 32, that is the end of the chapter. Text 21. Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma wore flower garlands and spotless garments, and their limbs were beautifully decorated and anointed. The women sang their glories in a charming way, bound to them by affection. So this pastime immediately happened after Nanda Maharaj was rescued or saved by Lord Krishna. So Lord Govinda means he is the master of the cows, master of the senses, and Lord Ram being the enjoyer of the pastimes. He enjoys serving Lord Krishna and the devotees as well. So here, Balarama's name was mentioned after Lord Kṛṣṇa, because the main pastime, Lord Kṛṣṇa was the leading role. And Lord Balaram is the secondary role. It's like in the movies, right? I hope you don't watch movies. But in the movies, the leading role's name is in the front, and then the supporting actor is after that. So we'll find out how is it that Balaram is not the leading role. The two lords praised the nightfall, signaled by the rising of the moon and the appearance of stars, a lotus-scented breeze and bees intoxicated by the fragrance of jasmine flowers. So after saving Nanda Maharaj, now Lord Kṛṣṇa will save the Brajavadhus, the Braja Sundaris, the gopis in Vrindavan. While this pastime happened during the Rasa Lila, both of Lord Balaram and Lord Kṛṣṇa together, but not with the same gopis. We've heard from the Balaram Rasa Yatra that Lord Balaram has a different set of gopis. So they were dancing with their own sets of gopis. Kṛṣṇa and Balaram sang, producing the entire range of musical sounds simultaneously. Their singing brought happiness to the ears and minds of all living beings. So in the spiritual world, all of these different instruments accompany the Supreme Lord and His eternal associates. Unlike in the very beginning of our Krishna consciousness movement, there are only two types of instruments. What are they? Kartals and mridangas. Nowadays, they're harmonium. Of course, Prabhupada played harmonium also, but that is in bhajans. But in kirtan is kartals and mridanga. Now many trumpets, saxophone, violins, electric guitar, many things. The gopis became stunned when they heard that song. Forgetting themselves, O king, they did not notice that their fine garments were becoming loose and their hair and garlands disheveled. So this is usually the case when ecstatic symptom happens to devotees. Their appearance seems to be also the garments, the hair, they also get loosened. While Lord Kṛṣṇa and Balaram thus played according to their own sweet will and sang to the point of apparent intoxication, a servant of Kubera named Saṅkha-chuda came upon the scene. Have you seen a picture of Saṅkha-chuda in the Krishna book? He was running. Yes? You've seen that picture? He's not worried. He's afraid. The demons, they're not worried, but they can be afraid. They can be in fear. O king, even as the two lords looked on, Saṅkha-chuda brazenly began driving the women off toward the north. The women who had accepted Kṛṣṇa and Balaram as their lords began to cry out to them. So the gopis here, they were compared to cows, where them being grazed, the cowherd boy or cowherd man usually don't touch them. They just have a stick, and they can point towards the direction where the cows will go, towards north. In this way, Saṅkha-chuda wanted the gopis to go towards north. And it says also that Saṅkha-chuda did not touch them. He was not able to touch them. Can you give another example whereby a pure devotee of the Lord has not been touched by a demon trying to capture or trying to harass? Who? Sita. Was she touched by Ravana? No. They're not on the same platform. Only on another. He's not a demon though. Lord Brahma. He was not able to touch the cowherd boys, the original cowherd boys. And Lord Krishna duplicated them. Those cowherd boys, they were captured by Lord Brahma, who put them into the cave. They're not on the same level as the original cowherd boys. Lord Govinda chased the demon wherever he ran, eager to take his crest jewel. Meanwhile, Lord Balarāma stayed with the women to protect them. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explains that the women were fatigued from being driven away. And thus, Lord Balarāma protected them and consoled them as they rested. Meanwhile, Lord Krishna went after the demon. So, Lord Krishna told Balarāma, so you stay behind. You try to console and protect the gopis. I will go and run after, chase after, and kill this demon, Shankhachuda. Next text. The mighty Lord overtook Shankhachuda from a great distance as if from nearby, my dear king. And then with his fist the Lord removed the wicked demon's head together with his crest jewel. Huh? This is 31 now. Now 32. So, this demon, Shankhachuda, has a special jewel. Very special. It says that this jewel is called also Shamantaka, or Shankhachuda money. Shamantaka jewel. In the Krishna book, we've heard another story of Shamantaka. Yes? After Krishna killed Jambavan. How is it that it is here and then it is also over there? What is the connection? How is it? How did it happen that Jambavan had a hold of this? One may question this. It is like a mystery here. Krishna wanted to kill Shankhachuda without actually touching him after his death, to take the jewel away. He wanted to do it in such a way that he will kill Shankhachuda and get the Shamantaka, or this jewel, at the same time. So how can he do this? Do two things at the same time. Usually if you want to take something from somebody, either he knows it or stealing it. So what he did is he punched the head of Shankhachuda, and at the same time the jewel was thrown or flew away from his body. Because to touch a dead body means you are contaminated. Therefore, the jewel will be also contaminated if he touch it. If Shankhachuda was killed and after that he touched his body. Many times our devotees will go for the departed Vaishnavas. We go to Yamuna for the last rites, and immediately we will take a bath. We will wash our clothes immediately, and we will take a bath. But ultimately, though, I mean, how is it a devotee is pure? How is it that we still have to take a bath after that? That is the proper etiquette. So, he took this jewel now. It says that this jewel, some says it is like ruby in color. What is the color of ruby? Red. And some says it says like Indranilmani. What's Indranilmani? Sapphire, blue sapphire. Next text, which is the last one. Having thus killed the demon Sankhachuta and taken away his shining jewel, Lord Krishna gave it to his elder brother with great satisfaction as the gopis watched. Purport. Various gopis perhaps thought that Govinda would give one of them the valuable jewel. To prevent rivalry among them, Sri Krishna happily gave the jewel to his elder brother Balaram. So these are the two sets of gopis now. Lord Krishna's gopis and Lord Balaram's gopis together, combined, being protected and under the watch of Lord Balaram. After Sankhachuta was killed, Krishna came back with a jewel. So all the gopis, each and every one of them are thinking, oh, Govinda will give me the jewel only for myself. It's a very beautiful jewel. But to their surprise, Lord Krishna gave the jewel to Lord Balaram. Because if Krishna gave this jewel to one of those thousands and hundreds and thousands of gopis, then they will fight with each other. Do you have experience like this, the grihastas? If you have something which is like very, very nice present, and you come home, and then everyone will be expecting to receive, each and every one of your children, this special gift. So you cannot buy only one. You have to buy for each and every one so that they will not fight. Yes? Oh, grihastas can tell. Brahmacharis, you don't know experience. That's why it says, Prabhupada says, prasadam should be distributed equally. Not just, oh, I just want the sweets. You can give the other sour or not sweets to others. So, Lord Balaram received this. And it is only appropriate, just like also as a reward for Lord Balaram's protection of the gopis, watching over them. And later on, this Shamantaka jewel was given to Radharani by Lord Balaram. Now, Lord Balaram, for him, this is very special, but he thinks that Radharani is the right person to have this Shamantaka jewel. Now, after Krishna went to Mathura, and the feeling of separation, Radharani is feeling separation, always thinking of Krishna. Now, Radharani went to take a bath in Yamuna. Yamuna is daughter of Surya. And along with entering to Yamuna, the Shamantaka jewel also was taken away by Suryadev. That when Satyajit was visiting the sun god, Then the sun god also gave this to Satyajit. And this Satyajit, he put this into Dwarka. And he was very protective of this. He was very proud. He thinks that he is the most powerful person. That while he was in the forest hunting, he was killed by a lion. And that Shamantaka jewel became the possession of Jambavan. Who is Jambavan? What is his, what does he look like? A bear. He's like the king of bears. That when Kṛṣṇa, they were fighting for so many days, right? And no one really able to overpower each other. And Jambavan, he declared that I'm defeated. And then he gave this Shamantaka jewel to Kṛṣṇa along with his daughter, Satya Jambavani, or Jambavati, yes. So in any case, this is how this Shamantaka went from here to there and then goes up to Dwarka again. So next, is there any question in this? Any points? So we finished this chapter. It didn't take us too long to finish this chapter, not even 1 week. Not like the Rasa dance. But the next one is about the gopis again. There's songs of feelings of separation to Lord Kṛṣṇa. Let me see again. The next chapter. The gopis sing of Kṛṣṇa as he wanders in the forest. Yeah, because no one is allowed to go with Kṛṣṇa, even Mother Yasoda, to go pasture the cows and the calves, which is only an excuse for Lord Kṛṣṇa and the cowherd boys to play in the forest. No one is allowed to come. They will have to wait for a long time by the end of the day so that they can have darshan of Lord Kṛṣṇa. So the gopis, that is the next meditation for us. So now, this is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila, chapter 8, text 33. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who is the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he glorifies Vrindavan Das Thakur. Vrindavan Das Thakur is the Vyas of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. As Vyasadeva is the writer or the author of the Srimad Bhagavatam, depicting the different pastimes of Lord Kṛṣṇa, especially in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Vrindavan Das Thakur also, he wrote the different pastimes of the Supreme Lord, but he is not able to finish because this Chaitanya Bhagavat, which he wrote, will be too voluminous if he depicted or if he described as well the later pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas in Vrindavan, they requested Vrindavan Das Thakur, whatever he's not able to mention in Chaitanya Bhagavat, that Krishnadas Goswami to write. That's why we've heard in Chaitanya Charitamrita the later pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, son of Narayani Devi Dasi. that in the pastimes of this nocturnal kirtan in where? Shiva's Thakur's ashram. The wife, what's the name of the wife? Malini. Looks like you're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, huh? We have to read this Chaitanya Charitamrita also. So, Narayani was about 4 years old at that time. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very fond of this young little girl, that he will allow his remnants, all the remnants, not just chuchu. Chuchu in Russia means little, little. The whole remnants given to Narayani. So she is very, very fortunate, knowingly that the future of Narayani's child to be very, very glorious, to be very, very auspicious. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, Vrindavan Das Thakur was also around 4 years old. Vrindavan Das Thakur, being very, very scholarly, is very, very studious, that is also being criticized by smarta brahmanas. This is the case in spiritual life. The more you make advancement in spiritual life, you will have some who will want to pull you down because of envy, because they don't want anyone to make spiritual advancement. They will think that they are advanced, and no one should be more advanced than me. But this is not the case. No one can touch a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. They came here for a specific purpose. They did not come here because of karma like we do. We came here because we still have many, many material desires. The pure devotee of the Lord, seemingly that they will be born also in not so Vaishnava way, but then they will emerge to be a great devotee of the Supreme Lord. So we must be very, very careful. Otherwise, this is the worst aparad, Vaishnava aparad. It is not that because one took birth in a Melecha family that he is in a low class and he cannot be the highest, in the highest rank of bhakti. So Vrindavan Das Thakur, he was born in a very poor family. His father died even before he was born. And that's why in the description of Vrindavan Das Thakur's life, his biography, his father is not really described. Only Narayani Devi Dasi, who is very, very exalted in her position, that even in that poor stage, she took the role or duty or work of even a maid servant. Another story in the Srimad Bhagavatam, who is son of a maid servant and became very, very powerful. Narada Muni. His mother also was a maid servant. And at the same time, Narada Muni was getting these remnants from the Bhakti Vedantas. So from the chapter 8 of the Adilila, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was praising, glorifying Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. This book that he wrote, Chaitanya Bhagavat, is very special. It was written in a very easy English or easy language. Of course, it's not English, it's in Bengali. That even a normal person who reads this will become a pure devotee. Of course, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that one day people in the world will learn Bengali and learn to read the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But we don't have to learn Bengali. It is being presented to us by Srila Prabhupada in such a way that we can easily understand his English. And as just like Srila Prabhupada says, I did not write these books. These books actually were written by Lord Kṛṣṇa. I was just an instrument. Because no one can write these transcendental books if one is not empowered. It's like Vyasadeva is an empowered incarnation or Satyavesa avatar. Of course, he's not in the Vishnu Tattva category. He is in the Jiva Tattva category. So, Vrindavan Das Thakur also says that he did not write Chaitanya Bhagavat. It was Lord Kṛṣṇa or Lord Chaitanya who wrote this book. And in the beginning, he named this book Chaitanya Mangal. Mangal means auspicious, just like we have Mangal Artik, auspicious time of the day. And this is the practice. The books has been written by the other acharyas. They will also name Mangala after. And Lochan Das Thakur, he wrote his book, the description of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, and Lord Nityananda, as also Chaitanya Mangal. But to distinguish, because it will be an offensive if one acharya wrote the same title of the book that he wrote. So it is better that I change it. So he changed it to be Chaitanya Bhagavat. Oh, it is not here. It's only up to chapter 7. I'm going to read here from my computer, Bhakta computer. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, "O fools, just read Chaitanya Mangala. By reading this book, you can understand all the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." Now, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, at that time, Chaitanya Bhagavat is still being called as Chaitanya Mangala by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. It is only later on that it was changed into Chaitanya Bhagavat. Let's read Prabhupada's purport. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat was originally entitled Sri Chaitanya Mangala, but when Sri Lochan Das Thakur later wrote another book named Sri Chaitanya Mangala, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur changed the name of his own book, which is now therefore known as Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. So from this, it was Vrindavan Das Thakur who wrote it first. And then Lochan Das Thakur wrote another book and he named Chaitanya Mangala. So out of his humility, he was the one who changed his book. The life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very elaborately described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has already informed us that in his Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he has described whatever Vrindavan Das Thakur has not mentioned. So sometimes when you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami will say that it is not for me to repeat it again, what has been told by Vrindavan Das Thakur, and therefore it will not be described further. We heard the other day from Daivi Shakti Mataji that this Chaitanya Charitamrita is the doctorate level in the study of Krishna consciousness. The knowledge in this book surpass any of the books written by Srila Prabhupada. Everything is included in here. The acceptance of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami indicates his acceptance of the disciplic succession. A writer of transcendental literature never tries to surpass the previous acharyas. So, as Vrindavan Das Thakur is the Vyas of Chaitanya Leela, which means that he is Vyasadeva. He appeared again to write this narration of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. And in the spiritual world, he is also Kushimadapa. Kushimadapa. Usually, the eternal associates of the Supreme Lord, they have counterpart in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Same in the spiritual world. As you must have remember, in the cover of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Goloka Vrindavan is divided into two parts, where Lord Chaitanya is performing pastimes along with his eternal associates in one part, and in the other part, Lord Krishna with his eternal associates. So as Vyas, he is also representative of the Supreme Lord. He does not have his own opinion. His opinion is the same as Lord Krishna's opinion. He does not have his own. Just like Prabhupada gave an example of a mailman when he delivers a telegram, he does not add, he does not subtract, he doesn't infiltrate what the message is. So similarly, the Guru, when we say Vyasa Puja, Vyasa Puja means the birthday of the spiritual master, honoring him to be a pure representative of Srila Vyasadeva. Because on that day, it's most auspicious day, most glorious day, and it is also the most uncomfortable way for the spiritual master, because he is being glorified, and if this goes onto your head, then you are not a guru. The Mayavadis, they honor their spiritual master on Guru Purnima. But we don't. We do it in Vyasa Puja. And specifically, this is called Vyas Asan. Vyas. So whoever supposed to sit in this seat is a representative of Vyas. That means he should be free from all the vices. He should be free from anarthas. No lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and especially envy. He should not speculate. He should only repeat what he heard. And most of all, he should just be always consider himself to be a fool in front of his Guru Maharaj. Prabhupada says in the Science of Self-Realization that if you don't consider yourself to be a fool in front of your Guru, you are not qualified to be a Guru. If you think that you can be better than your Guru, then immediately you become an offender. If the Guru says that he is God, because I'm representative of God, and therefore I am God, Prabhupada says, no, he is not God, he is dog. This is Vyasadeva, a literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord, empowered. An ordinary man cannot do that. To write voluminous books explaining the science of Krishna consciousness, how one can elevate oneself to become purified and ultimately go back home, back to Godhead. He's not an ordinary man. And Srila Prabhupada is also the modern day Vyas. He's not an ordinary man. No ordinary man can write like what he did. Not for the next 10,000 years. That's why he is the founder, Acharya, of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. No one can be equal with him, and no one can be greater than him in ISKCON. One is living in hallucination if he thinks that he can surpass Srila Prabhupada. So 500 years ago, we have the Vyas in Chaitanya Lila, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. But now we have the Vyas of both Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. That means he's also representative of Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is Vyas. Is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord, doesn't add, doesn't subtract, doesn't infiltrate, doesn't speculate, and we should be also following in his footsteps. Therefore, especially, we should be proud to be followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu under the tutelage of Srila Prabhupada. Not proud that we should not disseminate the same knowledge to others. If we become proud and not to give others this knowledge will be taken away someday. You will lose it. Just like a pot that has a hole on the bottom and it's filled up with liquid. It looks full, but there's a hole in the bottom, which means eventually the pot will be empty. The more you give Krishna consciousness, then the more it'll be refilled more and more and more and more and more and more. So we should read Srila Prabhupada's books every day, not just read but study them. In this way, by this sword of knowledge, it says in the Bhagavad-Gita, we'll be able to cut our attachment towards the material energy. Hare Krishna. Is there any points or question? We're happy to reply or answer any question if there is any. Are you all convinced? Yes or no? Yes. Oh, no, others, I didn't say anything. I want to hear Haribol if you're convinced. Are you convinced? Haribol! Jai. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Hare Krishna.